Hey guys, Icy Cat here. So today I'm going to be talking to you about some changes that are going on with the updated patch notes that are in the technical test server. Now this last week I haven't been doing a lot of content because I had actually been out in the San Francisco area covering an event for Far Cry 5. Got a chance to play the game and do some on-site events. It was a whole lot of fun. I'm going to be putting up that video when we get a little bit closer to launch, and I really can't wait for you guys to check out that game. It is really great. But in the meantime, I'm just going to have some Outbreak stuff that's going on here. I only had a chance to play Outbreak for about an hour while I was at the hotel during the event, so I haven't had a whole lot of hands-on time with it. And this was a particularly interesting match because while we were matchmaking, the third player dropped out, and I thought we would be stuck waiting until a third person queued up, but no, it launched it with just the two of us. So I'm going to kind of let that roll in the background while I talk to you about what's going on with some of the updated content. On the test server, a lot of people had a chance to check out the new changes to Blitz. They had made him a 2-speed operator, and he was really fast on the test server. One of the problems that came with that is that the shield operators themselves have a modifier to their speed when the shield is out. And I guess when they put the shield on the back, that modifier goes away. So even though he was a 2-speed operator, when he had his shield out, something on Ubisoft's end went wrong on the test phase, and they forgot to enable that extra modifier for having the shield in front. So he was still able to run with the shield as though he didn't have it out, and he was really fast, especially when sprinting. I mean, he just charged right down a hallway at you like incredibly quickly. There wasn't much you could do about it, and he'd take you out super fast. Tons of people on the forum and subreddit for the test server were complaining that he was just a wrecking ball now. He was almost becoming like a must pick because he was virtually unstoppable. Even traditional counters like throwing nitro or some kind of smoke gas grenade at him or something like that, he'd just run out of the area of effect for it before it really even had a chance to do much of anything to him. Shooting him in the legs didn't even matter all that much because he can still move pretty quickly even when in a crouch stance protecting his legs, so people felt he was just really overpowered. Well, now they've gone ahead and dialed him back, and essentially what they've done is they've sort of split the difference from the 1 speed that he used to be to where he was in the test server, kind of making him a 1.5 speed operator, sort of. And then when he's got that shield out, you know, he still gets that modifier to bring him down. So he won't be so much faster than he used to be, but he's also not going to be the rushing freight train that he was in the test server up until this point. And that's actually a really good thing if you think about it. That is the whole purpose of having the test server. We create an environment where we can try out the new changes before they deploy live in the full patch for everybody else. Imagine if this had gone live with this rushing freight train shield operator that could just take everybody out sort of all by himself almost, and then you would have to deal with that until the next upgrade session, which would come like a month after that first patch released. So instead of having that problem of 30 days of just Blitz being a terror, we actually got it solved in the test server within the first week of trying it out, and so by the time that change goes live, it will be much more refined and balanced. Another important thing to note, I think, is that Ubisoft is having a slight disconnect with some of the player base as far as what their expectations are. They said that they are trying to make all of the operators be equally viable choices. And I think that when they take that into consideration and they're looking at the low pick rate and they're saying like Blitz didn't have a real high pick rate, so we need to buff him and we need to make him better so that he has a higher pick rate. But the thing is that I don't think they're connecting with the main player base in the game is that the shield operators, Blitz and Monty and, you know, some of the recruit options or maybe a fuse with a shield or what have you, are niche operators for a certain kind of play style. You're either going to be doing a support role with them, or you're going to be using certain kinds of tactics and techniques you wouldn't use in a traditional playstyle with another operator, and that's just not suited for everybody, and that's okay. Not every single operator needs to be vying for like a top-tier pro league must-pick kind of a thing. It just doesn't need to be the case, especially if you're trying to build up to like 100 operators over the course of the 10-year period that they're looking at supporting this game for. I mean, what's that kind of saying? Once everybody's special, no one will be. You can't make every single operator be like the super must pick, and by trying to balance everybody, you keep then having to rebalance everybody else. It's okay that a shield operator is a niche pick and isn't picked all the time. Honestly, think about it. Do we even want to see shields picked all the time? I think it's okay to let him be where he was. He was in a really good spot after they improved his ADS time from when he had his flash charge to when he could shoot, and they also improved the ability for him to do that rushing sprint charge by kind of getting behind his shield and sprinting forward. When they gave him those couple of changes, they put him in, I think, a pretty decent spot. Now making a shield operator be a 2-speed, I think was taking things too far, and they're seeing the results of that and dialing it back in. Another change that they're making is to the operator FINKA. So they noticed some problems in balancing that was happening with the stun resistance she had. Previously, she had a length of a 30% reduction on the amount of time that the friendly operators were affected by a stun grenade, and the intensity was reduced by 50%. Well, now they're going to change that. So now the length will be 50% instead of 30%. So it's saying that, the amount of time you're blinded by a stun charge is going to be cut in half, as opposed to being cut by almost a third. But the intensity will be 100%, which means that it's not going to have an effect on reducing the intensity. It's only going to have an effect on reducing the length of time that you are stunned. So this is going to kind of make it so that it wasn't as powerful as it used to be. Initially, with the way FINKA was set up, you could almost treat stun grenades, almost like Ying's Candela charges, where Ying can toss them in and she can follow in right behind them and not have any effects. With the operators on your team, you could throw in stun grenades and pretty much follow right in behind them because you'd have that 50% intensity. You would still get like a flash on your screen, but you could still see through it. It wasn't the total whiteout that the defenders would get. So there was almost no penalty towards just following in right behind those stun grenades. And they thought that that was just not going to be the way they wanted this to go forward. So they've brought that back in and kind of dialed it down a little too. Aside from that, they said they're increasing the difficulty of Outbreak. So this applies to the pandemic mode. Grunt damage is increased for 8 damage to 3 armor characters, 10 damage to 2 armor characters, and 12 damage to 1 armor operators. Also, Doc will now have 2 stim pistol rounds instead of 3. Remember that he can refill those at supply stations throughout the Outbreak mission when you encounter them. They've also increased the difficulty of the Apex by giving him 2,000 hit points in Pandemic, up from his previous 1,800 hit points. Also, when the Rooter is in Bloodlust, it will reappear more frequently, causing you to have to fight that much harder to get rid of him. Now again, with this Outbreak footage playing in the background, you can see that I had a little bit of time with it, and it does have some moments where things can get absolutely crazy. Some of the Horde mode moments, you're just firing like non-stop. It is just overwhelming how intense it can sometimes be, especially when you have 2 players instead of 3. And honestly, things get so crazy, sometimes it doesn't even pay to aim down the sights at the targets. Yeah, getting a headshot will drop somebody quicker, but it's just coming so quickly at you, so many of them, that hip fire actually becomes way more viable as a way of dealing with what's going on than trying to take your time and aim at anything. I haven't gotten a chance to play all the maps in the new Outbreak mode yet. I probably will over the course of the next week while it's still on the test server, but I will say that what I have played of it so far is a lot of fun. I absolutely love this mode. I can't wait till it comes out and then I can play it with the regular guys that I do play with. We're going to have so much fun with this. I am disappointed it's only going to be around for 4 weeks though. It's going to go away in those first couple of days of April and then it won't be around anymore. There's going to be something coming back with this though. I mean, there just has to be. They put too much effort in this to only be there for 4 weeks and then never see it again. So I don't know if it's going to come back, months down the road or what the deal is going to be, but there is something bigger picture for this mode. I know it and I just don't know what it is yet, but I can't wait and see because it is a lot of fun. So there you go. We've got some changes coming within the test server already, which will balance things out before the game even launches live with the new season starting March 6th. At that time, we will be getting the new operators, Lion and FINKA, as well as the Outbreak mode. Now, of course, those 2 new operators do have a 7-day exclusivity period on them for people with the Season Pass. So if you don't have a Season Pass, you'll be able to access and unlock those operators for 25,000 Renown or 600 Rainbow credits starting March 13th. The Outbreak mode is only going to be around for 4 weeks, but the 2 new operators, Lion and FINKA, are permanent additions to the game. I get that question a lot, so just to clarify that, those operators are not going anywhere even after Outbreak is removed. Another question I get a lot is if you have to pay for Outbreak. No, that is a completely free mode. You do not have to pay to play it. You don't have to have a season pass to be able to play it. Everybody will have access to it. It is a completely optional mode, separate from Terrorist Hunt, separate from PvP. If you don't want to play it, you don't even have to try it. But I personally can't wait to get my hands on it when it does fully release. And in the meantime, we'll also be covering any other news and information that come out. So please do like and subscribe. Also click that notification icon so you're alerted as soon as I upload new content. You can also follow me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Hostile!
LZ's clear. Jaeger, get in there and bring him home.
Nice shooting. Now let's get out of here.
Excellent work. Stand by for debrief.
I'm offended you would expect anything less.